your membership is made up of professionals in transition in the finance industry. We've certainly worked with many of those people. My company will celebrate 14 years in June. LinkedIn will celebrate 22 years in May. So a lot of people don't realize they've been around that long. I always start with a few statistics about LinkedIn because it's interesting to know where they're at. They hit 1 billion members last December. We all know, we who do what I do around the world, we all know full well that probably a few million of those members are fake profiles run by bots. It's just a matter of business these days. They're out there. We do teach our clients how to beware of, the fake profiles that come after them to try to spam them. There are over 7 million LinkedIn pages now, and they dropped the word company. They used to call them company pages because now they encourage nonprofits, universities, professional groups to develop pages on LinkedIn, and they act as a mini website. There's no additional charge to create a company page. So any business owners out there, you might want to do that if you haven't considered it. You need over 100 connections on your profile. Most everybody has that these days. HR offices worldwide regularly use this platform to source candidates, and they get more sophisticated about it. I'm going to cover some points specifically for, what you can do to be more visible to them. So last year, there were over 4 billion searches done on LinkedIn. And it's just a huge resource now for products and services and any talent you have to offer to an HR officer. It's a huge, huge resource. Now, this I think is the best stat of all. After 22 years, they're still adding more than 7 new members per second around the world.
Wow.
And of course, that makes us very happy. There's no shortage of business for us, that's for sure. But that is mind-boggling to me. And even Monday this week, I do a lot of networking, and I went to the Palm Beach Chamber networking breakfast, sold out, 400 people, big ballroom over in Palm Beach at the Breakers. Beautiful, beautiful event. I had 8 people at my table, and there were 2 of them who admitted they had profiles, but they hadn't been on LinkedIn in years. So again, not everybody is savvy about what you can do with this platform. It's important to remember that you're going to be more often found through what's called organic searches. And when you think about it, it makes sense because people don't typically know the name of who they need, especially if it's an HR person sourcing a candidate. They're going to search with keywords which represent your expertise. In the case of a business owner, they might want to attract clients, new customers. So they're going to use keywords that are relevant to what they can provide. So you always want to think about what services and expertise can you provide to your next employer. All right, this came up all at once. So keywords, they have to appear. This has not changed in 20 years, 21 years. You have to have a good selection of keywords in these places on your LinkedIn profile, specifically to be found by the search engine.
Debbie, can I just interject for a second? For all the people trying to make an effort to note everything down, this video and the slides and all that will be available afterwards. So just listen into the wisdom from Debbie rather than trying to note it down. That's my suggestion, but you can do what you like. Thank you, Debbie. And one
Ah,
more person I forgot to mention was Joyce. She is the backbone of our of all these events. She works at the HQ of FANG. Thank you, Joyce. I forgot initially. Forgive me for that. Go ahead.
awesome. Thank you, Tariq. And I do want to encourage people to drop questions into the chat because I always allow about 10 or 15 minutes at the end to address questions, and I can talk about LinkedIn all day long. So I'm not a PowerPoint person, I'm a fan. So I do intend to go over live on LinkedIn very shortly. But yes, you will have all of these slides and a way to get a 15-minute phone call with me where I can review your personal profile afterwards at any time. So I want to explain keywords. And before that, let me just interject that we've always felt that members on LinkedIn should really have two goals. The first one is to have the very best professional presence you can have on this site. Mainly because when people land on your profile, they're there for a reason. They found you, and they also make an opinion of you in about 3 seconds. That is from Microsoft's research, not ours. But they're very quick to make an opinion based on your photo, your headshot, and whether or not you have any picture behind your headshot. And let me tell you, there's no excuse. So if you don't have a picture behind your headshot, Google Miami, Florida, free images, or Fort Lauderdale, Florida, free images. You'll get pages of copyright-free images that you can pull. Just make sure it's a horizontally designed picture, and make sure you remember your headshot's going to take up the lower left corner. And if you're going to do that to fill in that space behind your headshot, you want to save 3 or 4 pictures that you really like, because you're going to try to match up the pixel count, on the fly from Google to LinkedIn. Okay, so the first thing we tell our clients to do before we work with them is to think about all their expertise. And I'm going to address the focus of this webinar toward executives trying to find their next position in the finance industry. I think that would collectively, hopefully accurately describe, what FENG is all about. So you have lots and lots of keywords that describe your expertise. And what you want to do is take a minute and go into I'm going to skip right to the bottom one here, skills, because that's a good way to laser focus on everything that you can do for your next employer, all your expertise. And we do recommend that you get about 30 entries in there. Just as a quick side note, LinkedIn doubled the number of skills you could have from 50 to 100. They did that a few months back, and we thought they were crazy. I thought, if you think I'm going to tell my clients to sit there and put in 100 entries, no, that's not the point, and that's not what you should do. And if you have gone ahead and maxed out your skills to 100, you need to go back in and take some out. Here's the reason, the logic behind the increase. When you're applying for jobs on LinkedIn through the Jobs tab, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit, most of the ads that are shown to you at your level of expertise, they're going to tell you how many skills are required. And if the ad says 8 skills are required for this position, and if you're on the premium membership, any paid membership, they're going to tell you exactly how many you have that are needed. If you're on the free membership, you'll just have to check against your skills section on your profile. But let's say that you've gone after a job that has 8 skills required, and you have, let's say 5 of them on your profile. Under skills, I'm sorry. Let me throw that where it should have been. And let's say that you don't have all those skills on your profile. This gives you a chance to go in and enter those missing skills to qualify for the 8 that are necessary for you to even be looked at. And I'm making an assumption that you do have the expertise to do those missing skills. That's why they doubled the amount. We used to tell our clients max out 50, and they did. And then when they came across the ads, they would have to delete a few and make room to add those necessary skills that are required. Now you don't have to do that. Especially if you stay at like 30 or 40 entries, you'll have plenty of room to just stop in the application process, go to your profile, go to skills, add the missing ones, assuming you can do them, and then go back and hit apply and let your resume and your profile fly. If you don't take the time to do that, You will not make it through the ATS software. That is the first step in the process for almost every single HR office out there. ATS is applicant tracking software. It saves HR people a lot of time, and they can program that software to look for certain keywords right in your application, your resume, and your skills section of your LinkedIn profile. It's all very automatic, very quick, very quick. And if you don't take the time to match up those missing skills, you are not going to make it through the initial scanning process. And that's the end of your attempt to get an interview with that company. That's how important it is to pay attention to keyword optimization for every job you apply for. I will get into that more in a minute. So in the beginning, your profile needs to be keyword optimized. This has not changed in over 20 years. So you think about your most prominent, most impactful keywords that you want to make sure the world knows about. That's why I say review your list of skills. If you haven't done it for a while, there might be some in there that you can get rid of that are no longer things that you really want to go after or that you really want to have an impact for your chances for your next job. And then if it's been a while, make sure that you get your current skills in there. If it's been a while, and we've worked with people that haven't touched their LinkedIn profile. I just worked with a guy, he's in IT, he's very high level, 5 years. We worked together 5 years ago. And he said, Debbie, I'm sorry, I got to tell you, I haven't touched my profile in 5 years. I said, okay, we have some work to do. So the skills section kind of gets filled out and then ignored. So I'm going to encourage you again, number 5, make sure you take a look, and that way you can also pull, usually. I would say, if you ever want to work with us, you're going to need 12. We ask for 12 keywords in advance. That shows us you've looked at your list of skills, you've updated it. Now you're giving me a dozen words that you really want to emphasize to your next, interview. So when you get those 12 words together, you need to make sure, and I'm just giving you the 5 fields. This is what we do in an initial session with every single client. Doesn't matter if they're a CEO or a college student. Everything starts right here with getting your profile in shape for the search engine. So again, 90% of people are found through organic searches on LinkedIn. And HR people are on that site day in and day out doing organic searches. And of course, from the ads they run everywhere, they're getting hundreds of resumes through the ATS scanning. Now they get looked at by humans, and then they decide who they want to interview. That is a quick summation of the hiring process. From the interview, there's several more steps, but your objective initially is to pick up their attention and get an interview. So make sure that you've got some keywords in your headline, and that's where you really want to laser focus. It's not on here, but you have 120 characters to play with. That includes spaces. And you can always look at my profile for an example. I'm giving you about the first 20 minutes of our one-to-one right here. The About section is your narrative. It's not all about you, and it's not all about what you want to do. Make sure you get your why in there. And a lot of people are challenged with this. They don't know what to say, or they're not sure what that means. Look at it this way. If you're going after a CFO position and an HR person has picked you out of that scanning process along with, let's say, 8 other candidates, you have an opportunity here. It's 2,600 characters, but about 5 paragraphs. You have an opportunity in this narrative to tell that HR person why they need to interview you above and beyond anybody else they're looking at. So what is your proposition value? How do you differ as a candidate for that role against the other people that are going after it? Because you're going to have this constantly through the job search process. As a side note, I found LinkedIn as a 57-year-old job seeker who had a very successful 23-year career in nonprofits, all in Palm Beach County, marketing, media, PR, and fundraising for the last 7 years. So I was getting to know anyone who's anyone in Palm Beach, Wellington, Hutchinson Island, um, very prominent people, very, very wealthy people. And that's how I cut my teeth on fundraising in the nonprofit world. So from there, I was dismissed. That's another story. But I had to reinvent myself, and I found LinkedIn as a job seeker at 57. And I learned how important it is to network and to connect with people of value. And I'm going to get into that on the next slide. But in the about narrative, you need to tell people a little bit about yourself. Don't be bashful, and don't be bashful about bragging. You know, if you've got some prominent honors and awards in your background, yes, most of those are going to be internal from different companies you may have worked with. But you need to talk about you, your background a little bit, because they can go to your experience section to get the whole story. So you don't have to reiterate it in your narrative. But give them enough of an idea as to your progression up to where you are now. And then your why, you can bullet point. You can say 4 or 5 things about why you fit this job so well, and why you love, hopefully. I always take a giant leap of faith here. Hopefully you love the work you're doing. Let that come through in your narrative. Um, I've written over 800 narratives in my 15 years on here. I still love what I do. No two are alike. I do have a certain structure I follow with people, but I pull it out of them by asking them, what got you started in this? Especially the professionals that have 20 or 30 years in the field. There's got to be a reason they stayed with it. So I ask questions, and you can ask yourself, why am I still doing this job? You know, why do I like the work I do? What about me might attract an HR person into saying, oh, that's an interesting, statement to make about whatever. I think I want to know more about this candidate. You have to put your keywords into those sentences you write. All right. And in the experience section, if you're not currently working, that's fine. You can you can play with the template for experience, and you can add one to say, and I'll just give this to you. Your company name can be ready to add value. That's your company name. Your title is going to be your most prominent keywords. So you're ending up writing, you're manipulating the template for entering a job just to let people know. And you can say, starting point is from when you ended your last position to the present. So you're basically telling people that find you on LinkedIn, you are working full-time at finding your next job. And that entry will give you points in the LinkedIn algorithm. They like to see people that are currently working. So we've been doing that for years, and it works out really well. And when you save the entry, and you're going to talk in the paragraph about the description to tell people what you've been doing, since you ended your last job. You can talk about professional development you've gone after. You can talk about networking you've done to reach out to people. You can talk about volunteering. Do not underestimate the value of volunteering when you are in transition. HR people love it, and I'll tell you why. It gives them a pretty good idea of what you are willing to spend time on while you're job seeking. And just volunteering goes so far. Just don't hesitate to put that in there. Okay. So your experience for current entry and then your past work, you're going to make sure you've got some of those keywords infused in the description fields, and then the skills we already talked about. Okay, I spent a lot of time on that because that is the first thing you need to do is make sure you have a keyword optimized profile. All right. LinkedIn is a two-way street. You can do outbound marketing by inviting people to connect who may work for a company where you'd like to work. Get your foot in the door. Start connecting with people that are listed on their LinkedIn page. And I'll go to the pages when I go live in just a minute, and I am keeping track of the time here. you want to make use of the basic free membership. A lot of people are using it. They limit you to 5 invitations a month, where you can add a note to tell people why you want to connect. Frankly, very transparently, we think that's the worst change the LinkedIn has made in 22 years. They used to have unlimited, opportunities for people on the free membership. Now you're limited to 5 times a month. So, um, I don't know how many of you might be in a position to afford basic premium. They have what they call career premium. It's 45 a month. And honestly, I just discovered that because I'm on premium business and I pay 70 a month, and that's what I've always quoted. I didn't know they had come in with a lesser expensive level. 45 is a lot more affordable. If you can swing it, you get unlimited invitations to connect with a note attached. It makes a difference. It lets people know exactly what you have in mind. You want to act on your homepage feed, like, comment, and share other people's posts. I'll get into that more. You definitely want to keep yourself out there. The biggest lesson I learned from 11 and a half months of unemployment and over 100 resumes, well over 100, the biggest lesson I learned is you cannot stay at home and do everything on your computer. You need to keep your face out there. You need to network. A lot of people aren't super comfortable doing that. You can find groups to network through. Oops, I didn't have it on that screen. Okay, I'll get there. But you can look up your local chambers of commerce. They have events for non-members, every one of them. But in the meantime, let me stick with this. So look up professional groups through meetup.com. That's meetup.com. That's been around for years. You plug in your zip code and they'll bring up anything and everything that's taking place in your area. And now they categorize. So if you want to join a finance meetup, I guarantee you there's going to be plenty to choose from. And their usual casual get-togethers, maybe a breakfast or a lunch or a happy hour. There's usually a small fee involved, and a lot of them are free. So don't discount the value of meetup.com. And Eventbrite, you can always go on there and see what's happening. Engage with your connections. Send a quick note through messaging, but this is my favorite way because you can voice message somebody through the mobile app. And the trick to it, you bring up the person you want to message, you hit message, and they bring up a little template where you would normally type whatever you're going to say. Right to the right of that field is a little tiny microphone. They hide stuff. I mean, it's really tiny. You tap on the microphone and you get 1 minute to record. And you can practice and then get it the way you want it, let it go. It is my favorite way to communicate with people because it's only a minute and you can't get wordy. And I like to acknowledge every new connection that I get. That's one of our golden rules. So I like to use that voice messaging, but reflect on something in their profile and chances are good you can start a conversation. You are on the platform to develop business relationships. When you're in transition, you want to develop business relationships with people that either work in companies that you have your eye on or can lead you to companies that might be of value to you. The inbound marketing, make sure your profile is keyword optimized, then you're going to attract viewers to you. And they do give you a bunch of valuable stats, even on the basic membership, either on the mobile app, right in the middle of the page when you bring up your profile on the mobile app. And if you're on desktop, you scroll down maybe a couple of inches and you'll see a whole section called analytics. I'm just going to make a wild guess that everybody on this call knows what I'm talking about since you're in finance. Stats are very important. Okay. Commenting and engaging on other people's posts. I can't emphasize how valuable this is, especially if you see a post on your homepage that you can add value to what's being talked about. Might be some group or event that you are familiar with. It might be a topic that you know quite a bit about. And if you add a comment, make sure it's a sentence more than 7 or 8 words. This is how fine-tuned the algorithm is. The algorithm loves engagement. If you just say, I agree, to a comment for a post, or I like this, 2 or 3 words, that's not helping anybody. Make it a sentence, make it of value. Invite connections to the next local event you plan to attend. Never stop building your network. I have over 16,000 first level connections. I've been on here for almost 16 years. I invite 5 people a day. 5 a day. It's a habit. It's been a habit for years, and I never stop building. And it's because every time you connect with a new person, if anybody on this call is not connected to me, connect with me. And you can actually follow me, and I will watch in the next couple of days for new followers. And depending on what your background states, if it's anything to do with finance, I'm going to guess that you were on this call and you followed me. That's the button you're going to see on my profile. Instead of connect, it's going to say follow. There's a reason for that. It's called the creator mode. I won't get into it right now. It's not important. What's important is hit follow, I'll watch for you, and I will turn around and invite you to connect. When you're connected to somebody, you get each other's posts and content in your feeds. If you just follow me, you'll see everything I'm posting, but I'll never see anything that you're doing. So again, there's a reason I have that setting in place, but that's how you can connect with me. Initially, it's following. Okay, networking. I'm just going to bring all this up, as it does speak for itself. There we go. There's Meetup and Eventbrite. And these are just pictures. I love happy hours. I'll be very transparent. They're very casual. They usually allow for a lot of engagement and interaction with people because it's not a giant crowd. I love Zoom calls. I take a screenshot and I use it as a post, to get, and I take a minute. It takes several minutes, but I'll name everybody that's in the screenshot. And I'll mention them, and you put an @ sign in front of their name in your text on your post, and it turns their name bold. And now I've given them, anyone that sees the post, a link right to that person's profile. So it's a little time consuming, but it's what I've gotten used to doing, and people love it. This was a very casual professional women's breakfast. Just make sure you get some networking into your life. Just keep yourself out there. This is exactly how we engage. All right. When we connect with somebody and when we invite them and they say yes, and now you've been notified, so-and-so accepted your invitation, you need to acknowledge that person. You need to always acknowledge somebody that's new in your network that you've invited. And even if it's just a quick written note through LinkedIn, the inbox, that's fine, or a voice message is fine because that also lets them hear your voice. It's another step closer to developing a relationship. React and comment on posts always. It takes a second to click one of these icons. When you do that, they get notified that you've reacted to their post, and your network gets notified because that post will go out to your first level connections home pages. So you're helping the originator of the post, but you're also helping yourself by showing your network what you think is of value to you. They should stop and look at it. Voice messaging, I already talked about. Invite people to your next networking event. I'm working with somebody to get people together, just a small networking on Sunday afternoon, happy hour, because a really, really great friend through LinkedIn that I've never met in person is coming down from New York with his family for some of the baseball practices. And he's making time on Sunday afternoon. We're just going to have probably 8 or 9 LinkedIn members who are all close to this guy we've never met in person. So that's going to be fun on Sunday. Anything you attend is a great opportunity to get that phone out, take some pictures, and post about it the next day. Even if you've never done posting, it is so easy to upload a picture now, write a few sentences. You can look at my profile under my activity, and you'll get dozens of examples of what I post about. When you are in transition, it's super important to let everyone you know that you are in transition, you're actively looking for work, but most important, and this is what is missing all the time on posts that I see, hey, I just wanted to let my network know I'm looking for my next job. Please let me know if you see any opportunities. And I want to just grab that person and say, you need to spell it out, because people are not going to guess at what you're looking for. Even if your profile says you've been a CFO for 10 years, okay, there's more to it than that. If you're going to expect one of your network members to help you out, the more you can tell people what you are looking for, the better your chances that they will keep their eye out for you. But the worst way to put that out to your network is just to say, hey, I'm looking, let me know if you know of anything. And I see it often. So make sure you get a little bit of detail into that post. And it's not a bad way to get the word out either. This is something we can help you with in a 15-minute call. Like I said, you'll all have a chance to set up a time at your convenience. We do profile reviews right over the phone. There's no obligation. And if you have a specific question, I can address it. There's two of us that do this all the time, and it doesn't obligate you to anything, but it will give you a couple of good tips for improving your visibility. All right, and be diligent about checking your notifications on LinkedIn. That's where LinkedIn communicates with you. Okay, these are all our free resources. I'm going to let you read through those later. And Davy, she, blessed with that spelling, she's in Cincinnati. She used to be down here. She's from the Cincinnati area, so she moved back in that area, but she is my other coach. The two of us do those 15-minute reviews, and here's the link. We live with Calendly. It takes you into her calendar or my calendar, and you can pick and choose your own 15 minutes. So I encourage you all to do that. I'm going to switch now over to LinkedIn and take a quick look at the chat. Okay. Whoever's in Brickell, you have my sympathy. That's so much traffic down there. Let's see. Oh yeah, you should definitely put your LinkedIn URL in here too. All right, so that's a great example, Willard. You're specific. You are looking for board of director opportunities. I love that. Okay. Awesome. I'm flying through these. How does one get in contact with LinkedIn customer service? Woo, that is a good one. You've never been able to get a live voice, Willard, and guess what? You won't. When you think about it, their LinkedIn Help Center, I'm going to point it out to you right now, and you all can see my profile, right? Hopefully. Am I sharing my profile?
No.
No. Okay, hold on one second. I have to stop the screen share and pick it up. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Now you can see my profile, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so your navigation bar up at the top here, it's going to be there all the time, wherever you go on LinkedIn. To get to the Help Center, and you will not be able to get a live voice, and I'm going to caution you about picking up on chatting with somebody. I'll put it this way. They have over 1 billion members. They have many, many, many people acting as support people. And I'm just going to tell you from my experience, the more concise you can be with stating what your problem is, the better off you'll be. So here's how to get to the Help Center. You click on Me, and then you click on Help. Always open Help in a new tab. They'll take you around in circles otherwise if you put your question up here. Open Help in a new tab. And now can you see my screen with the blue?
Yep.
All right, right here. How can we help? That is where you want to, I'm sorry, talk to LinkedIn like they're 5 years old. I'm serious. You really need to be concise and brief and get your question in there. And they're going to give you a bunch of answers to find your own answer. All right. Once they do that, scroll down to the bottom of the screen, way down here, and you'll see Contact Us. I just tapped on it. That's how you can get a direct query into the Help Center, one of thousands of people will pick it up and be assigned to you. But I've tried chat. It's too frustrating. They keep referring me to other people because they can't answer the question. It's like, I don't have that kind of time. So create a support ticket. We'll get back to you soon. It might take a couple of days for you to get an answer, but tap on this. And then again, if it's something to do with one of these particular tags, pick them. Otherwise, tap on other, reiterate your question here, and then you're going to create a support ticket. That's how you get yourself into their mix of people that can actually give you an answer. When you create the support ticket, I'm going right into that. I didn't really give them a real problem, but I'm taking you through the template. You don't need an alternate email. You do need to pick these asterisk tabs. So you have to tell them what kind of issue you're having. If it's technical and something's not working right, go for technical support. Sometimes that's the quickest answer you'll get out of all these different issues. But pick an issue type and then tell them if you're using a laptop or the mobile app, and then tell them what device. It's just step by step. Here's where you need to talk to them like they're 5 years old. And don't be afraid to get detailed, because it's very frustrating to go through all this. And the first answer you get is, I've escalated your issue to a higher whatever level of help, because they don't understand what you're asking for. So be very, very simplistic. You can add a screenshot saved to a Word document if that helps you with your issue, and then you hit submit. And when it goes through, you're going to get an automated email in your email that's affiliated with LinkedIn. And it'll say, thank you for your query. It has a case number, and now it's in their hands to solve. You have to be patient, but here's the really, really, really important thing about dealing with the help center. You must pay attention to your email, your inbox, because if they answer you 4 hours later and they give you a link to click and you don't see that email until the next day or the next night, you may have to start the process over. When they give you a link, it's very frustrating, and that's why I'm very transparent about it. The more you know about how to handle the LinkedIn Help Center, the better off you're going to be and less frustrated, because starting a process over is a pain in the neck. So just pay attention to your inbox, and the minute you hear from LinkedIn Help, click on it and respond. And then you'll keep the activity going between you and whoever's assigned to you. Otherwise, you start over, you get a new person. It's not easy. The bottom line, they have over 1 billion people. The last thing I would want to do is be a member of their support team. The last thing I would want to do. Nesh, I know you have your hand up. Can you hold tight for another 5 minutes to your question? All right. I just want to make sure I point out a few other things here. Let me get this out of the way, and let me get this back where it was. Okay. All right. You can always use my profile as an example. Does anybody want me to look at their profile right now? I promise I'll be very easy and just critique. And let me go back and check the chat real quick. Coat and tie for a profile picture. If that's what you normally wear when you're working, sure. Otherwise, suit coat is great. You don't have to have a tie unless that's your normal attire. Okay. Is there a listing of keywords that we might obtain? Good question. You can probably Google the statement keywords. Well, I'll tell you another source would be chat. I'm very careful with using it, and we don't use it in our coaching right now. We use it outside of work, and it's a great platform to get started with an idea or something. But I would start with Google, and I would say keywords for a CFO, or keywords for whatever the title is that you're looking to fill. Try that. Okay. Murray, I didn't know you were on here. Hello, Murray. We've known each other for a long time. Let's see. Okay, that's another URL. That's great. I do think you all should connect with each other. And I really like what I'm seeing in the chat. I'm gonna have to make sure that I copy that, or maybe Tariq, you can send it to me.
Okay.
New member of FANG. Your group is really great with interacting. When making invitations, I have encountered pending response. Oh, you're always going to see that on the person's profile. The minute you hit submit on an invitation to connect, it means your invitation is pending their answer. So hopefully it's not new. No, you may not have noticed it in the past. Weekly limit on connect requests. Oh yes, and it's not 200, it's 100. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm challenged sometimes with keeping up with all the changes, but we have a few people that we rely on. And I am connected to a lot of people that work for LinkedIn, and that doesn't hurt. The question is, there's a weekly limit on connection requests for paid memberships based on the membership plan. The limit I know of for any given paid membership is 100 a week, including Sales Navigator. So this is another effort to cut down on the spam that's going on continually. It's something we all have to deal with. But to my knowledge, your limit is 100 invitations to connect per week. So be careful about that, because if you try to go beyond it, which leads me into third-party applications, which promise you that they can automate and give you 400 invitations a week. That is a fast track to getting shut down by LinkedIn. When you get shut down, next time you go to log into your account, you're going to see 5 words in red across your screen. This account has been restricted. You can't even get to your home page. You certainly can't access all your connections. So it's just not worth it to use third-party software. And just don't believe their claims, because I today just got a list, 40 extensions that are against the rules for LinkedIn. 40. And that's a new list. I have links that'll show you many more. There are so many people out there trying to make a dime off of promises to, give you lead generation on LinkedIn. Oh, those are my favorite invitations to connect, by the way. Debbie, did you know you can do lead generation on LinkedIn? We can show you how, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if I'm in a mood, I'll write back before I block the person, and I'll say, yeah, actually, we can probably show you a better way to connect with people because you're spamming me, so I'm going to block you. It's just, it happens. Handwritten thank you notes. Willard, I need to talk to you. You've got some great questions. I love handwritten thank you notes. Every client we get for years has always gotten a handwritten note from me and my other coaches to thank them for their business. You can't go wrong. It's old school. Hello, I have gray hair. You can't go wrong with handwritten thank you notes because it means you really care about their business. Messaging only on the LinkedIn app. I'm not sure what you mean. Messaging. Your voice messaging can only be done on the phone or iPad. And you have to look for that little microphone. You can't do voice messaging on laptop or a PC. Let me keep going through this chat since I'm in it. And that's a good point, Ganesh. Twitter, which I dropped the minute it changed hands. I just don't use it anymore, but they do have a fantastic LinkedIn support on Twitter. X, sorry. I can't even call it that. And it is a very quick response usually. I've gotten away from it, so I don't mention it anymore. You can try the DM to that LinkedIn address. Ben Stevens, okay. And is there a better way to apply for a job via LinkedIn or the company's website? Okay, typically, let me just take you in there. That's a good point, and that'll take me right into the jobs tab. Anyway, go through my profile if you need help with anything that's in this presentation. You will have the PDF slides. All right, the jobs tab. They change things pretty often. So you have to have a little bit of patience here. Because over here, they used to have a button for practicing virtual interviews. This is for your saved jobs. When you save a job, they're going to be listed under here. Your preferences, there's a lot of choices here, and if you haven't gone through this, you really should take a look at it. Open to work, that's the hashtag open to work. I'm okay if you choose the option they have to be open to recruiters, but not have the hashtag open to work around your headshot. We're not in favor of it. It's very simple. We're connected to HR people all over the world. We work with people in transition every week. We have to stay up on the hiring trends. When I did a webinar, what month is this? March? I did a webinar, I think it was back in September, geared to job seekers. And I canvassed a dozen HR people, directors that we're connected to. And I said, what's your opinion of the hashtag open to work ring around a headshot? Does it help you find people faster? One person out of 12 said it made a difference. All the other ones said, no, we find people, anyway, without that. My opinion and that of my team became, it looks like a negative because it usually means the person is out of work looking. And when you're in transition with no revenue coming in, that's not the best image to have. And it's hard enough to, keep your hope going and all that without people looking, as I started looking at people like that. Oh my God, they're out of a job. Let me see when and I immediately looked at their experience section to see when they last left their job. And we just don't advise it. Now, the simple thing is try it. Try it for a month if you want to have it displayed on your profile and track, your progress with applying to jobs and track your search appearances. Those are under your analytics right on your profile, private to you. About 3 inches, if you're on a laptop, I'm on a laptop all day long. It's about 3 inches below your name. It's a horizontal area called analytics. I'm going to be talking fast here. If you're not looking at your analytics, please get in there and take a look. You've got, even on the basic free membership, they're going to give you the last 5 people that looked at your profile. Now, if you're not active, you're probably not going to see anything there. You have to be active with your homepage feed to get, some traction on LinkedIn. You can't just sit back and apply for jobs and not do anything. The algorithm wants engagement. So go through these preferences before I get sidetracked with all of these. Just double check that you've got yours picked out. Okay. I'm just going to stick with CFO. And spelling really counts. Financial, this has been a day. Okay, we're gonna go for right here, just as an example. I'm in West Palm Beach. I know you guys are all over the place, probably. Let me pick, I don't know. Let me pick Fort Lauderdale. All right, I'm just gonna hit enter, right? So it's bringing up, now, the algorithm is looking at me, my profile, my content, everything about me. So I'm getting 268 results for this. There shouldn't be anything on my profile relevant to being a CFO. But why did it take out officer? That's weird. Hold on a second. All right. Well, now we're down to 76 results in the Fort Lauderdale area. Now you'll notice the very first thing I'm going to teach all of you, if you're not doing this now, this is Job Search 101 on LinkedIn. Use these filters left to right. First thing you want to do, because otherwise you're going to spend way too much time going through 76 jobs or 2,000 jobs. Use the filters. It's defaulted to driving 25 miles. I'm telling you, if you live in Lauderdale and drive to Miami, God bless you. I've been very fortunate never to get on 95 ever in my 40 years of living here. And I'm from the Boston area. Trust me, I know traffic, but I'm very blessed not to have to ever take 95 anywhere. Unless it's a corporate training, I will do that. But yeah, driving down to Bayside. Oh my God, every day for 2 weeks almost killed me from West Palm. Anyway, alter these defaults for all of these, especially date posted. They gave me 76 results. That's anytime. All right. A lot of the HR people, unfortunately, they forget to take down the job after it's filled. So you definitely want to get into this one for date posted. Let me see what last month is. Okay, that's not bad. It's still 76. Let me go to the past week. All right, well, these are still pretty common. All right, hold on. Very interesting. All right, now I'm going to say something's wrong with this. Okay, now we're down to 8. That's posted in the last day. If it's going to show it to me. I'm telling you, it's been a Friday for me today. I'm trying to get them to reduce the 76 to 8. It'll work for you. Trust me, try this. Go through the experience level, get that correct, get rid of all these lower ones. If you're going after a CFO job, you want to go right for executive. Yep, they're having trouble. Okay, 45 of them are executive level. Normally, it'll shift and immediately drill it down. So by the time you get over here, you're going to have a viable group of jobs to look at. Then, depending on the title you picked, go over to all filters and you're going to have more on the right side. What I want you to zero in on is title. And let's see. All right, let me get these pictures out of the way. So you want to look for and make sure they've got Chief Financial Officer listed. And again, now it's going down to 58 because it did not stick to the levels I chose. All right, the lesson here, use these filters first. Get your initial results drilled down to a reasonable number that you can actually look at. The other big lesson here, for the sake of time, a lot of times the ad, let me just go through some of these. A lot of times they will state right here who's posting the ad. Never be afraid to reach out and connect with the person that posted the ad. I know that might seem a little terrifying, but they're not going to put their picture there unless they're going to welcome that. And a lot of people still won't do it. They don't think it's proper protocol to try to connect with the person that's interviewing. Nothing could be further from the truth. Just try it. And if you've got those, if you're on the free profile and you got 5 opportunities a month to personalize your invitation and connect, make sure you think about who you're using up those 5 invitations on, because you have to wait another month to use another 5. Please engage. I'm going to skip right to the homepage. Make sure that you engage with your homepage feed. That is where you can attract a lot of attention. You want to do that and scroll. Don't start reading. You'll be on here way too long. Our action plan calls for the number 1 step is they throw you on the homepage first. No matter what device you're using to get onto LinkedIn, they're going to put you on the homepage first because they want you to see what's going on with your network. So I'm scrolling. I am not going to stop and read, but if you see something that looks interesting, she's a really good friend who's now up in Chicago. If you see something you want to read later, use these. It's called an ellipsis. It's 3 dots. They're in the upper right of everything. Now you're going to start looking for that in your invitations to connect, because under there, they're going to say, they're going to give you a choice to tell LinkedIn if someone's spamming you. Please use it. It's anonymous, and they will check the person's activity. So I use the 3 dots everywhere. It's on every newsletter, every post, every invitation, every article. It's everywhere. Use it because you get a lot of options here, and save is my favorite thing. Now that post is saved and I can go back and read it later. I actually call that my happy hour button. So on the home page, you go back and your saved items are going to be right here. I have a lot to catch up on because there's been a lot of activity. I have over 10 posts and articles that I've saved. I am in several LinkedIn learning courses that I will eventually try to go back and finish. But this is my favorite button because these people, they're very worthwhile with paying attention to with what they have to say. I think I'm out of time, but let me take one more quick look if you have time in the chat. So the answer to your question, Karen, that was a long one. Better to apply for a job via LinkedIn or the company's website. 9 times out of 10, if you apply through LinkedIn, it's going to end up in the company's portal for job applications. So I'm just going to say through LinkedIn, you might see the person that's posting. You can also go to the company page and get a whole list of the employees for that company. And you can search for the HR person, or you can search and see if you're connected to anyone in that company. There are unlimited tips for using this platform. It's why we do what we do here. Let me go back.
Maybe
And
another question, maybe it's not in topic, but is there an option to filter search if I was trying to find CPAs but Russian speaking, so is it any option in LinkedIn to search by this
yes, let me
like
show you.
skills or qualities? Yes.
Yeah, if you just search, all right, when you search for anything that has more than one word, put quotes around it, please. So I'm going to spell it out. I'm sorry, did you say CPA? Come back to me.
Yes, CPA.
All
Yes.
right, let me do
Yeah,
it with just the
CPA.
initials first. And if you just hit enter and then tell the search engine, even if it starts with people, click people anyway. This is what you want to do first on any search. Tell the algorithm you're looking for people. All right. And did you want people that speak German or they're in Germany?
Russian.
I'm sorry, speak Russian.
Speak Russian, yeah.
Okay, all filters. Go right over to all. You got over 500,000 results. You might want to narrow it down a little further, but let's just see what they have. So under all filters, you go down to language. All right. Now, right here,
Oh, wow.
right here, they're telling you incredibly, no. These are the languages that are represented in those 545,000 results. Okay. All filters should be bold and gold highlighted because there's a lot of stuff in here. You know, they have service categories now. They have keywords. You can search these people by their actual title, most of which is going to be, you know, certified public accountant. But that's where you can find people that speak a certain language. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. And Ganesh, you had your hand up a long time ago. I don't know if I answered your question. Or if you're still there. Okay. One more, take a quick look here. I have a lot of contacts that I made so long ago, I don't remember how I met them in the past few years. I'm using messaging as a substitute for notes. Yes, I miss the notes. You used to be able to put notes in every profile where you met somebody. When you message, it stays forever as a history in the messaging center. So this is a very good idea. He writes a short message to the person to comment on how they met or whatever you want. And no, I don't have a better way to do that, but I will tell you, I don't do it, but I know a lot of people that keep spreadsheets outside of LinkedIn. They'll track their posting. They'll track their results from posting at certain times of the day. We still advocate morning, noon, and night, believe it or not. 8 to 10 p.m. is a great time to post, especially when everyone's told they should not be on their devices before they go to sleep. They are. Yeah, I mean, I do know a lot of people that use spreadsheets. I just don't. We've done plenty of tracking in the past, 13 and a half years. But that is an excellent way right there. Just a short note in messaging, and then it's there forever. Does LinkedIn have specific filters for searching people with certain skills? Not
It
that I
was
know
my
of.
question, Debbie,
Oh,
so
the language.
you
Okay.
can skip it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Boolean search is great. I hate to assume that everybody knows what that is, but it's when you can string several keywords together in a single search. Please connect with me, follow me, and I'll look forward to connecting with a lot of you.